Aging is an inevitable part of life, yet it's striking how many people seem to lose their vitality after reaching 80. You've likely seen it happen. Someone who was lively, sharp, and full of energy in their 70s begins to slow down, their spark dimming as the years pass. Their movements become hesitant, their enthusiasm wanes, and the vibrancy that once defined them seems to fade. It's tempting to attribute this decline to just getting old, assuming it's all down to genetics or the luck of the draw. But the truth is far more intricate and far more empowering. Beyond the well-worn advice about eating well, exercising, or avoiding smoking, there are subtle, often ignored factors that quietly erode vitality after 80, impacting even those who've lived carefully and made healthy choices. In this deep dive, we're exploring 5 unexpected reasons, rarely discussed yet profoundly influential, that shed light on why so many older adults struggle to live long and thrive past 80. These aren't the typical health tips you find in magazines or hear from doctors. They're deeper, more nuanced forces that slip through the cracks, affecting even those who've done most things right. The beauty of this knowledge? Once you recognize these hidden influences, you can take practical steps to counteract them. Whether you're nearing your later years, planning for a vibrant future, or supporting a loved one to age with grace, these insights could transform your perspective on longevity. If you've ever wondered what truly hinders a long, fulfilling life past 80, and how to safeguard your vitality while you still have time, stay with me. These 5 surprising reasons might just reshape how you approach aging, offering actionable strategies to remain engaged, healthy, and truly alive in every sense. Let's uncover the secrets to not just surviving, but thriving well into your 80s and beyond. One of the most insidious reasons many older adults struggle to live long and well past 80 is the gradual erosion of what researchers call microsocial engagement. This isn't about your deepest friendships or lively family gatherings. Those remain crucial, of course, but rather the small, seemingly inconsequential interactions that once wove through your daily life like threads in a tapestry. Picture the brief chat with the barista who knows your coffee order, the friendly wave to a neighbor tending their roses, or the quick exchange with the postal worker delivering your mail. These moments might feel fleeting, almost forgettable, but they carry a weight far greater than their brevity suggests. These microsocial interactions are like tiny sparks, igniting your brain and body with energy and connection. Neurologically, they activate the brain's social circuits, reinforcing your sense of belonging and purpose in the world. They calm your nervous system, lowering stress hormones and boosting mood-regulating chemicals like serotonin. Psychologically, they anchor you in a community, however loosely defined, reminding you that you're seen, valued, and part of the everyday rhythm of life. Whether it's a smile from a stranger on the street or a nod to a fellow dog walker, these encounters build a web of connection that supports mental clarity, emotional resilience, and even physical health. Over time, they create a cumulative effect, nourishing your well-being in ways you might not consciously notice. Yet, as people cross the threshold of 80, these interactions often begin to fade. Life changes, sometimes subtly, sometimes abruptly, can pull you away from these moments. Maybe you stop driving, so trips to the local market become less frequent. Perhaps hearing loss makes casual conversations feel like a chore, or aching joints discourage you from your morning stroll. You might turn to online shopping for convenience or rely on family to run errands, thinking you're streamlining your life. But in doing so, you're unknowingly severing the delicate threads of connection that keep you vibrant. The world starts to feel smaller, quieter, and more distant, and a subtle sense of disconnection creeps in, often without you realizing it. This loss doesn't come with a warning siren. It's a slow, silent drift, and most people don't notice it until the effects become palpable. Without those daily touchpoints, you might start to feel invisible, as if your presence in the world carries less weight. This subtle loneliness isn't as overt as deep isolation, but its impact is just as profound. Research shows that social disconnection, even in its mildest forms, acts as a chronic stressor, elevating cortisol, increasing inflammation, and weakening the immune system. Over time, it can shrink the brain's networks responsible for memory, attention, and emotional regulation, accelerating the aging process and making you feel older than your years. I once met Harold, an 83-year-old retired teacher, at a community center where he shared his story. Harold used to walk to the same diner every morning, exchanging pleasantries with the waitstaff and nodding to familiar faces at the counter. It was a simple 10-minute ritual, but it gave his day structure and a sense of belonging. When his arthritis flared up, he stopped going, opting instead to have groceries delivered and stay indoors. Within months, he noticed his mood sinking and his memory faltering. He felt foggy, disconnected, and less like himself. It wasn't until a friend urged him to resume his walks, even if just to the corner store, that he began to recover his spark. Those small interactions, smiling at a cashier, chatting with a neighbor, reignited something in him. Harold's experience underscores a powerful truth. The smallest connections can have the biggest impact on your vitality. Rebuilding these microsocial connections doesn't require sweeping changes. Start with baby steps. If you're able, take a short walk to a local shop or park, even once a week, and make eye contact with someone you pass. A simple hello can be a powerful act. If mobility is a challenge, sit by an open window or on your porch and wave to neighbors as they go by. Join a local group, a book club, a gardening circle, or a senior center activity, where casual conversations flow naturally. Even online communities can offer a sense of connection, though in-person interactions have a unique ability to ground you in the moment. The key is consistency. These moments don't need to be profound, they just need to happen regularly, like daily vitamins for your brain and soul. If you've noticed yourself retreating, spending more time alone, avoiding small errands, or feeling like you're fading into the background, it's time to take notice. Those fleeting connections are more than pleasantries. They're a lifeline, quietly signaling to your body and mind that you're still here, still vital, still woven into the fabric of the world. By nurturing these microsocial moments, you're not just staying connected. You're actively bolstering your longevity, keeping your brain sharp, your mood lifted, and your spirit engaged. Another hidden factor that shortens life after 80 is something that often masquerades as wisdom: being overly cautious. It's only natural to want to protect yourself as you age. A fall or injury can have serious consequences. But there's a fine line between sensible caution and paralyzing overcaution, and crossing it can set off a cascade of unintended effects. The shift often begins with a single unsettling moment: a trip on a loose rug, a near miss on an uneven sidewalk, or a dizzy spell that shakes your confidence. The scare is enough to make you rethink your daily routines. You might decide to avoid stairs, skip your evening walks, or stop reaching for items on high shelves. Friends and family may reinforce this, saying, "Don't risk it, take it easy." On the surface, it feels like a prudent choice, but over time, this well-intentioned caution creates a life that's safe but stagnant, robbing you of the very movement that keeps you strong. Your body isn't designed to flourish in stillness. Unlike a machine that conserves energy when idle, your body is a dynamic ecosystem that thrives on activity. Movement, whether it's walking to the mailbox, stretching in the morning, or simply standing to water a plant, keeps your muscles robust, your joints flexible, and your balance sharp. When you stop moving, even for a few weeks, your body begins to weaken. This isn't just about losing muscle mass, though that happens alarmingly fast. It's about losing the coordination and core strength that allow you to navigate life with confidence. The deep muscles in your abdomen and back, your core, are the unsung heroes of daily tasks, standing up from a chair, walking across the room, even turning to greet a friend. When you sit more and move less, these muscles atrophy, making you less steady and more prone to the falls you were trying to avoid. This sets up a vicious cycle. Fear of falling leads to less movement, which leads to weaker muscles, which increases the risk of falling. Consider Margaret, an 81-year-old who adored gardening. After a minor fall in her backyard, she stopped tending her flower beds, worried she might lose her balance again. She spent more time indoors, sitting and watching TV. Within 6 months, she struggled to stand without support, and her confidence plummeted. Her doctor explained that her core muscles had weakened from disuse, not from age alone. With a regimen of guided exercises, simple stretches and balance drills, Margaret slowly regained her strength and returned to her garden. Her story highlights how quickly inactivity can spiral, but also how reversible it can be with intentional effort. Protecting yourself doesn't mean halting movement altogether. It's about finding safe, sustainable ways to stay active. Use handrails on stairs, wear sturdy shoes with good traction, or consider a walking aid if it boosts your confidence. Clear your home of tripping hazards like loose cords, cluttered floors, or slippery rugs. Start with gentle movements, a 5-minute walk around the block, seated stretches to loosen your joints, or balance exercises like standing on one leg while holding a chair. Even small doses of activity can make a significant difference. The goal isn't to test your limits, but to keep your body engaged, reminding your muscles, joints, and brain that they're still needed. If you've been cutting back on activity, not because you physically can't, but because you're afraid of what might happen, it's time to pause and reflect. Are you safeguarding your health, or are you slowly retreating from life? Staying alive past 80 isn't just about avoiding risks. It's about embracing movement, however modest, to keep your body and spirit thriving. By staying active in safe, intentional ways, you're not just preserving your physical health. You're reclaiming the freedom to live life fully, on your own terms. Deep within your body lies an invisible clock that governs nearly every facet of your health. Your mood, energy levels, metabolism, immune system, and even how your brain repairs itself during sleep. This is your circadian rhythm, and after 80, it becomes increasingly delicate. One of the greatest threats to this intricate system: irregular exposure to light, not enough during the day and too much at night. Your body depends on light to stay in sync. Bright morning sunlight signals your brain to wake up, boosting alertness and sending energy where it's needed. As evening falls, darkness triggers the release of melatonin, the hormone that prepares you for deep, restorative sleep. This rhythm is the backbone of physical and mental health, but it's easily thrown off balance. Spending too much time indoors, napping in the afternoon, or staying up late with bright screens can disrupt this delicate cycle. For older adults, these disruptions are particularly costly. As you age, your eyes become less efficient at absorbing light, and your body produces less melatonin, making it harder to maintain a robust circadian rhythm. This can lead to fragmented sleep, daytime fatigue, and even cognitive decline. Many older adults also spend less time outdoors, whether due to mobility challenges, harsh weather, or simply habit, further weakening their internal clock. You might not notice the shift immediately. Perhaps you doze off in the afternoon sun, or stay up late watching TV, the glow of the screen keeping you awake. These habits seem benign, but they quietly confuse your body about when to be alert and when to rest. When your circadian rhythm falters, the effects ripple through your entire system. You might struggle to fall asleep or wake up feeling groggy, even after a full night in bed. Daytime tiredness can sap your motivation, making it harder to stay active or engaged with the world. Over time, poor sleep weakens your immune system, destabilizes your mood, and increases the risk of memory problems. There's also the critical issue of vitamin D, which your skin produces when exposed to sunlight. After 80, your ability to synthesize vitamin D declines, making regular outdoor time essential for strong bones, healthy muscles, and a resilient immune system. Without it, you're more vulnerable to fractures, weakness, and infections. I once met Clara, an 85-year-old who felt perpetually exhausted despite sleeping 8 hours a night. Her days were spent indoors, her curtains often drawn, and her evenings were filled with the blue light of her TV. She felt foggy and disoriented, assuming it was just part of aging. Her doctor suggested a simple change: 15 minutes of morning sunlight, even through an open window, and no screens an hour before bed. Within 2 weeks, Clara's sleep deepened, her energy returned, and her mental clarity improved. It wasn't a new medication or a complex treatment. It was the power of light, realigning her body's natural rhythms. Clara's story is a powerful reminder that small adjustments can yield transformative results. Realigning your circadian rhythm is simpler than you might think. Start by seeking natural light within an hour of waking, even if it's just sitting by an open window or stepping onto your balcony for 10 to 20 minutes. During the day, avoid long naps that can disrupt nighttime sleep. In the evening, dim indoor lights and limit screen time to help your body wind down. If you must use devices, consider blue light blocking glasses to minimize disruption. These small changes can have a profound impact, not just on your sleep, but on your overall vitality. Your body doesn't age solely from wear and tear. It ages from disorganization, from systems falling out of sync. By restoring your light cues and sleep rhythms, you're sending a clear message to your body, even at 85. We're still in sync, still in motion, still thriving. By the time you reach your 80s, you've likely endured more loss than most can fathom. A spouse, a sibling, a lifelong friend, perhaps even a child. These losses carve deep marks, not just in your heart, but in your body. While society may offer sympathy, it rarely acknowledges the silent toll of emotional suppression, the habit of bottling up grief instead of letting it flow. Grief is a natural response to loss, but after 80, many people feel pressure to move on or be strong. You might convince yourself that you should be accustomed to loss by now, or that no one wants to hear about the pain you carry. So you swallow it, putting on a brave face for the world. But the body doesn't forget what the mind tries to bury. Unprocessed emotions don't simply vanish. They linger, manifesting as physical tension, a weakened immune system, or disrupted sleep. Over time, this emotional weight can dim your inner spark, making you feel less like yourself. It alters hormone levels, increases inflammation, and keeps your nervous system in a state of quiet stress. The effects are often subtle at first: tighter shoulders, shallower breathing, a vague sense of heaviness. But they build, eroding your vitality in ways that aren't always obvious. I recall meeting Thomas, an 87-year-old widower who lost his wife of 55 years. He insisted he was fine, rarely speaking of his grief, believing it was his duty to stay stoic. But within a year, he'd lost weight, stopped attending his weekly card games, and struggled with insomnia. His health declined, not from any diagnosable illness, but from the sorrow he'd buried. When he joined a grief support group and began sharing his story, his vitality slowly returned. Expressing his pain didn't erase the loss, but it lightened the load, allowing his body and spirit to heal. What keeps people thriving past 80 isn't just physical health. It's emotional ventilation, the ability to express and process feelings rather than suppress them. Having a safe space to voice sadness, anger, or loneliness can be transformative. It might be a trusted friend who listens without judgment, a journal where you pour out your thoughts, a faith community that offers solace, or a therapist who helps you unpack decades of stored emotions. The form doesn't matter, the act of release does. When you express what's weighing you down, you free your body to heal, reducing stress and restoring balance to your system. If you've been holding in grief because it feels too heavy or there's no one to share it with, start small. Write a letter to someone you've lost, even if you never send it, letting the words flow freely. Talk to a friend about a memory that still stings, or join a support group where others understand your journey. Even saying aloud, "I miss you," in the quiet of your home can be a powerful release. These acts of expression are medicine for the heart, helping you carry on with resilience and purpose. By letting yourself feel, you're not just honoring your emotions, you're safeguarding your health, ensuring that your body and spirit remain vibrant for years to come. Perhaps the most invisible threat to longevity after 80 is the slow erosion of daily purpose. This isn't about grand philosophical life goals, but the small, everyday reasons to get out of bed. A task to complete, a person to connect with, a routine to follow. Purpose gives your days shape, texture, and meaning, and without it, your vitality begins to fade. Purpose can be as simple as watering your plants before the sun gets too hot, feeding the neighborhood cat that waits by your door, or writing a letter to your grandchild. These acts, however modest, anchor you in the present and give your life a sense of continuity. But as you age, these anchors can slip away, often so gradually you barely notice. Maybe your weekly bridge game was cancelled, or your church group stopped meeting. Perhaps family visits have become less frequent, or physical limitations make old hobbies like knitting or woodworking harder to enjoy. You might tell yourself it's normal, just part of aging, and try to shrug it off. But deep down, you feel it. The days blending into one another, each one quieter and less distinct than the last. Without purpose, the body listens to the mind's signal that it's no longer needed. Appetite wanes, movement slows, and the systems that once regulated your health, your heart, your immune system, your brain, begin to go quiet, not because they're broken, but because they're waiting for a reason to stay active. I met Esther, an 89-year-old who radiated life despite living with chronic pain. Her secret wasn't wealth, perfect health, or a bustling social calendar. It was purpose, woven into her daily routines. Every morning, she knitted blankets for a local charity, her hands moving with care despite arthritis. Every afternoon, she called a friend to check in, offering a listening ear. Every day, she sat by her window at 4 p.m. to watch the neighborhood kids walk home from school, waving to them and smiling as they waved back. These acts weren't glamorous, but they gave her days texture and her heart a reason to keep beating. Esther's story is a powerful reminder that purpose doesn't need to be grand. It just needs to be consistent. Reclaiming purpose doesn't require monumental changes. Start with one small ritual. Water a plant, write a note to a loved one, or feed a neighbor's pet. Join a community group, a choir, a crafting circle, or a senior center program, or volunteer in a way that suits your abilities, like reading to children or sorting donations. Even reflecting on your day in a journal can create a sense of continuity, giving your thoughts a place to land. The key is consistency, something to look forward to, however small, that makes you feel needed. Purpose is the fuel of longevity, telling your cells to keep repairing, your organs to keep functioning, and your brain to keep learning. If your days feel shapeless, like they've lost their meaning or structure, don't dismiss it as mere sadness. It's a signal, a call from your body and mind for rhythm, connection, and purpose. By giving yourself a reason to rise each morning, you're not just filling time. You're fueling your vitality, ensuring that your heart keeps beating with intention and your life remains full, no matter your age. As we close, let's hold on to a simple yet profound truth. Fading after 80 isn't the result of a single moment, a diagnosis, a fall, or a milestone birthday. It's the slow, quiet drift of habits, rhythms, and reasons to stay engaged with life. These changes are so subtle, so gradual, that you might not notice them until your vitality feels dimmer, less vibrant than it once was. But here's the empowering reality. Just as these shifts happen slowly, they can be reversed slowly, with intention and care. One step outside to feel the morning sun, one conversation with a stranger at the store, one moment of expressing what's in your heart. These small acts can reignite your spark, bringing light back to your days. Reflect on the 5 unexpected reasons we've explored: the loss of microsocial engagement, overcautious inactivity, disrupted sleep cycles, emotional suppression, and the erosion of daily purpose. Which one struck a chord with you? Which one felt uncomfortably familiar, like a mirror held up to your own life? And most importantly, which one are you ready to address, even in a tiny way, starting today? You have more power than you might realize, not to halt aging, but to shape how you age. By staying attuned to these quiet shifts, guarding your rhythms, and embracing what makes you feel alive, you can live past 80, not just breathing, but thriving, fully, deeply, and on your own terms. Share your thoughts below. What surprised you most, and how will you act on it? Your insights can inspire others, and your journey matters more than you know. Thank you for joining me on this exploration. Here's to living long, living well, and embracing every moment with purpose and joy.